Zillow's forecast just came out for the housing market. Now, it doesn't mean that it's amazing because they often change it throughout the year, but I want you to take a look at where they think everything is heading. And this is a more national view. And yes, I'll showcase some things that are more local, but we're just going to pick and choose based on where we land randomly. Here's what we're going to do first. Here's a great interactive graphic. You've got this Zillow forecast for metro level home prices between October, which was now a month and a half ago, maybe a month ago, into October 2025. 2024 to 2025, let's zoom in a little bit so we can take a look at this. What we're looking at is, if it's blue, that means prices are probably going to go up there according to Zillow. If it's red or towards this area, prices are probably going to go down. Now, if we take a look at overall where they think that the prices are going to go higher, you see the darker blue areas, right? And so a big chunk here is Miami, right? You've got Miami Beach, you've got southern state of McAllen in Texas, and then you've got, believe it or not, lighter blue, but darker blue here, Riverside, California, Los Angeles. And you've got really dark blue areas in New Jersey, which we'll bring up again. And then a lot of dark blue areas here in the New Jersey area. And then obviously Hartford, Connecticut, which we saw. Now let's take a look at the area they think will be an area that suffers the most. New Orleans, and this little area right here in Louisiana. You see all the darker areas like Charles, even neighboring in Texas. You've got Beaumont, which is Beaumont, Port Arthur, Texas. And then Austin, you see Austin, if you want to zoom in on this one, but you see Austin's now at about 0.4%. This is now all a forecast. We take a look a little bit further and we can take a look at the areas that Zillow thinks are going to outperform and then the ones that are not going to do so well. So if we want to take a look at the areas they think are going to be booming or better than the average, Atlantic City, New Jersey. And we did see that on the other map. Kingston, New York, Augusta, Maine. Look at this. These are all like northeast areas. You've only got Tennessee and that's it. Tennessee is the only one that's I wouldn't consider to be in the northeast. You've got Indiana, which tends to be over in that area. But still, let's take a look back at this map. Everything I would say north and east of this little area right here. Boom. And for some reason, they think all of this is going to continue to boom, as well as Florida. And I know you've seen some stats saying that Florida's not going to do so well. Now let's take a look at the areas they think that aren't going to perform well, which we can take a look at the map. Looks like it's all the Midwest here, southern Midwest, and then the northern part of California. And we can take a look here what they tell us. Lake Charles, Louisiana. Well, it's just Louisiana practically, and Texas. Louisiana and Texas and one part of California. So those are the ones that are going to suffer the most. If we take a look at their predictions overall, I want to really showcase a couple of things here. Number one, Zillow forecasts a 2.6% home value growth in 2025. Just remember, they always change it up. The other piece to this is Zillow forecasts 4.3 million homes are going to sell in comparison to what do they have here? We had 4 million that are going to end up closing this year. Very close. It's like closer to 4.1, but that's still low. Even as a comparison, when we were in 2021, I believe it was 2021-22, we had 6 million sales. So it's like almost 2 million sales less. That's how big of a difference it is right now. So things are still selling, but the big problem are mortgage rates. And here's what they say about mortgage rates. Mortgage rates will fall, but hold on, they're going to rise and then fall again. I thought that was absolutely ridiculously stupid. It's like, so you're telling me what I already know. I got it, right? No news. Great forecast there, Zillow. They say it's going to stay around 7 and then it's going to go into the mid 6s. But for me, the important thing that as I was reading this report that I wanted to showcase you is buyer's market will spread to the Southwest. And I had to look up the Southwest. I'm like, what do you mean by Southwest, right? And I looked it up. I went to Google. So apparently Southwest, Arizona, New Mexico, and parts of California, Colorado, Nevada, Oklahoma, Texas, and Utah. They think, so Zillow thinks, as interest rates drop more, 2025, 2026, we're going to see a lot more people now start buying in these areas because they think it becomes more affordable. What do I think? I don't know. I don't see how things will become more affordable. I do see rates probably dropping a little bit, but year over year, we're seeing prices go up, especially with inflation, especially with all of everything out there going up in value. So I'm not sure how accurate that is, but take it with a grain of salt. Now, what I do want to show you is that they think, here's Zillow's market heat index in October 2024. They say all of this blue areas, or I'm going to zoom in for you. These areas right here are a buyer's market. And they say they think over in the darker orange are the seller's markets. So you have New York all of a sudden being a seller's market. And then you have orange-ish yellow. I guess I would call this yellow. That's orange. Boston, Massachusetts, just a regular seller's market. I know a lot of you are surprised here when we show you that this big yellow dot is a seller's market in Los Angeles right now. And then you see San Jose, right, the little dot right there. It shows that it's a very strong seller's market. So that's a surprise for a lot of people. What we do notice is a reverse of what happened during COVID, which was everyone moved out of these areas and they moved into Texas, they moved into Florida, they moved into Nashville. And now all of a sudden what we're seeing is the opposite, right? So remember that real estate is regional. I want to also showcase one more thing here to you, and that's that home prices where they're forecasted to go as a whole. So this way we don't just rely on Zillow, because if you see Zillow in the middle, they're on average saying 2.9%. That's how much we're going to grow in real estate. But you take a look at Moody's. Moody's is the only one out of the big forecasters for real estate that are really saying we're going to go the opposite way, and even then slightly, right? You've got Freddie Mac at 0.6, just a little bit over. Mortgage Bankers Association, they're pretty big. They're like, oh, slight move. NAR, even NAR, which they have a whole report on this. What's next for the housing market? You can see here, they think that interest rates, to me, that's the important one, right? Interest rates, they've ranged between 6% to 7.5% over the last 52 weeks. And they say they'll end up somewhere in the low sixes, probably, according to their economist. And I want to really go back to this, because if I take a look at what NAR says, they say we're about 2% growth by October 2025. Maybe they're saying through 2025. And then you go up a little bit. You got Zillow right over here, 2.9. I want to take a look at who said that we're at, who's super bullish on this? Apollo Global Management, right? And then AEI Housing Center and Wells Fargo. Now, out of the top ones, I would say I probably would stick with maybe the top three here, not these two. Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, right? They're at around mid fours, high fours. It's really tough to tell on predictions, because one thing you'll be able to notice really quick is that all of these predictions, first quarter in, end of first quarter, they're all going to change, and they'll be like, hey, we were wrong. We're not as bullish, or you know what? We expected it to go higher now or lower. One thing is clear. If you take a look at almost every forecast, they're all saying that real estate prices will go up. So what do you think? I want to know. In this whole process, what are your thoughts? Have an awesome day. Thanks for watching, and follow me for more.